Today we're reading Roar of the Ganges, and then after the reading we'll open the floor to questions and answers on anything you guys feel like it. This book was gifted to me and through me to all of you by Sky Guardian, who is a devotee of the author, Swami Tadatmananda, who has given his expressed permission with prayers and best wishes for me to read this to you all. We've made it through a considerable portion of this book, more than halfway now, if you can judge by the thickness. This book takes place in India from Swamiji's perspective on his way to becoming a Swami himself, a spiritual renunciant. He is at an ashram where he was studying under Swami Dayananda, his guru. His name was not yet Swami Tadatmananda, because that's the name he was given after he renounced the world and got his spiritual name. Then he was known as Mark, who was a computer science graduate, now on the banks of the Ganges River in North India, in a town called Rishikesh. This chapter is called Life's Double Feature Movie. We won't read the whole chapter, but just a few pages. I'm happy you find some safety here, Pesto. And thank you, Becca. And hello, Candy. And thank you, Mahidna, for your rose. Radhe, Radhe. Life's Double Feature Movie. When I got back to the ashram, I was surprised to discover that Swami Dayananda had already returned from his visit to the Kailash ashram. He was holding satsang on his porch, with most ashram residents present, crowded around him in a semicircle, spilling out into the courtyard. He sat comfortably, curled up in a half-reclining posture, while sipping from a teacup. I sat at the back of the assembly and listened as the discussion ebbed and flowed. Not far behind us, the Ganges chanted its bubbly hymn of peace, enshrouded in a blanket of darkness. Richard, my new British friend, sat towards the front of the group, looking pensive. During a pause in the conversation, he seized the opportunity to pose a question. Swamiji, this morning you said that Atma is the consciousness by which we know all of our experiences. I liked your analogy of watching a movie screen on which all our experiences are projected. But that analogy seems like an oversimplification. We have different states of experience, like sleeping and dreaming. My consciousness right now seems completely different from my consciousness when I'm dreaming or when I'm in deep sleep. Do we have more than one consciousness? Do we have different states of consciousness? There is only one consciousness, Swami Dayananda replied, studying Richard's face. That consciousness never changes, so it cannot have different states. But you do have different states of experience. These changing states take place in your mind and become known due to unchanging consciousness. Swami Dayananda continued. And good evening, Kevin. Happy to have you here as well, Jesse. Consider this. You are aware of what is happening right now. Let us call this state of experience the waking state. When you dreamt last night, you were aware of your dreams. Let us call that the dream state. And there were intervals when you were not dreaming, when you experienced no thing, no thoughts, no emotions, no perceptions. That can be called the sleep state. All experiences occur while you are awake, dreaming, or sleeping. Everything you experience falls into one of these three states. But all three are experienced by one conscious person, and that person is you. The waker, the dreamer, and the sleeper are not three different persons. You are the awareful witness of all three states of experience. You are the conscious person by which they are known. You are that consciousness, Atma. Thank you, Mahina. I am well. And hello, Roberta Lynn. Let's return to the movie screen analogy. Suppose you went to a movie theater to see a show. A double feature. Imagine being comfortably seated next to a friend, eating buttered popcorn and drinking Coke. A few people giggled at this depiction. Swami Dayananda smiled and asked, "Do you think a Swami like me doesn't know about such things?" Everyone laughed loudly. As usual, no one laughed more loudly than Swami Dayananda himself. He continued, "Suppose the first movie is a romantic but tragic story. Boy falls in love with girl, girl falls in love with a different boy. You watch the movie projected on the screen and experience various joys and sorrows as the plot unfolds. In this analogy, watching the first feature is like the waking state. All day long, everything you experience, including your joys and sorrows, are projected on the screen of your mind, and you are the awareful witness by which they are known. In the theater, after the first movie ends, the second feature is shown. Suppose it is a frightening drama in which all of the main characters suffer violent deaths, one by one. The second movie is like your dream state. Your dreams are as distinct from your waking experiences as these two movies are different from each other. And just as you were the same person watching each of the two movies, in the same way, you are the same conscious person by whom all waking and dream experiences are known. Richard was engrossed by this analogy, as Swami Dayananda continued. Suppose the second feature has just come to an end. After the long list of credits has scrolled by, the screen finally goes dark. Imagine remaining in your seat, sitting in a totally dark theater, staring at a blank screen. What would you see? Nothing. Nothing at all. You can still see, of course, but there is nothing to be seen. This describes your experience of dreamless sleep. In the sleep state, consciousness remains, but nothing else is present. Nothing is available to be experienced. No thoughts, no perceptions, no feelings. When your consciousness illumines a silent mind, it reveals nothing, just as your sight reveals nothing while staring at the blank screen in the dark theater. So in deep sleep, you are conscious of the absence of activity in your mind. If you sat in the theater long enough, the next show would eventually begin. The movie screen would again come to life as the first theater is projected upon it. This describes your experience of waking up in the morning. After intervals of dreamless sleep, your mind emerges from its silent condition and becomes active once again as you re-enter the waking state. If you were to remain in that theater day after day, you would witness a repeating cycle. First feature, second feature, intermission. First feature, second feature, intermission, and so on. In the same way, your states of experience alternate repeatedly. Waking, dream, sleep, followed by waking, dream, sleep. You witness this continual succession. You are the awareful witness of this cycle of 3 states that repeats day after day. Swami Dayananda paused and looked at Richard, who then exclaimed, "This is an amazing analogy, but suppose I have more than one dream at night." "You probably have many dreams each night," Swami Dayananda replied, "and in between them you might fall into dreamless sleep, or you might even wake up. These 3 states can alternate in any order. The point here is simply that you are the awareful witness of all 3. And as an awareful witness, as the consciousness by which all 3 states are known, you are fundamentally independent of them." "I don't understand that," said Richard. "Right now, as I talk to you, I don't feel like an awareful witness of a discussion between 2 people. I am a talking person, not a passive observer." "Ah," said Swami Dayananda, delighting in Richard's observation. "Now you are ready for the next step. There is another issue we have not yet considered. The problem of identification. And let us continue with that problem of identification as we dive into deeper layers of this analogy at another point in time. For now, we'll end our reading there. But I thank you, my dear viewers, for listening with me. I hope that you enjoyed the reading.